Hey, welcome back everyone. MC82 here with another review. Today we're going to be looking at Lemmy Koopa by Jakks. He's the latest Koopaling to be released in this World of Nintendo line that has featured multiple waves of Mario-related characters. Lemmy is based off his appearance in the new Super Mario Bros. Games. Now, if you're looking for this guy or others in the line, you're probably not going to miss the giant Super Mario plastered on the front of the card backing. This background is bright, colorful, and it's die cut, which makes it stand out from the standard card packing that you would see hanging on the shelf. At only $9.99, it's an easy impulse buy if you're into collecting Bowser's kids. And yes, they are still Bowser's kids to me. I grew up meeting these guys in Super Mario Bros. 3 and in the cartoon, and they were Bowser's kids long before all of this nonsense, with Bowser Jr. being recognized as the only child. Out of the package, Lemmy has almost everything that you would recognize from his appearances over the years, with one notable exception. More on that later. From his feet to the tip of his mohawk, he measures around 4 inches. Speaking of that colorful mohawk, it's very well done, as each strand of hair is molded separately on top of his head. That also includes the ponytail on the back, which has a nice gradient finish. He also features his orange stripes on the side of his face. And as the smallest Koopaling, he's got a youthful look of innocence. But I would have liked his eyes to be more cross-eyed to play up to his appearances and the childish, silly nature that he's known for. He's also got his spiked cuffs that sit over his wrist, and spiked turtle shell that rounds out his look. The paint job is bright and clean for the most part. There's a few spotty areas, but for some reason, they decided to place what appears to be a product ID number on his left leg. It's a bit of an eyesore, as I have no idea why they didn't opt to put this ID under his foot like they have for the other figures. Still, for a $10 figure, Jakks has done a really good job of pulling together all of Lemmy's visual characteristics. That is, except for one. While Lemmy does come with his magic wand, which is used in most of his appearances, the one inexcusable omission is his magic circus ball. Why Jakks did not decide to include it is beyond me. If they needed to add $1 or $2 to the cost, I'm pretty sure fans wouldn't mind, as the ball is one of Lemmy's most defining visual characteristics, and weapon of choice in nearly all of his appearances, including the cartoon. Not including the ball is as baffling as having Lakitu without his magical cloud. Even more baffling is that they mention on the back of this package that Lemmy is known for, among other things, you guessed it, the rubber ball that he balances himself on. It's just a major disappointment, but perhaps you can find a small ball and put a few star decals on it as a replacement. He does have a little bit of articulation. His head swivels. His arms can move around, and his wrists turn very easily. He also can move his legs, and his feet bend back to a fair degree. You can also move his tail a little bit as well. So it's not much, but it's more than I expected for a figure of this size. So let's go ahead and compare him to a few of his brothers that have been released, Ludwig von Koopa and Iggy Koopa. Considering the source material, he scales pretty well with these two, as he should be a little smaller and have less girth than his siblings. Finally, let's compare all of them to their daddy, big old Bowser the King Koopa himself. With the multiple versions of Bowser out there, some of them ranging from 4 inches to nearly a foot tall, I think this roughly 6-inch figure is perfect when scaled next to his 4-inch kids. With the exception of his missing ball, this Lemmy Koopa figure is exactly what it needs to be. An extremely affordable, well-done figure with solid, accurate detail and a serviceable paint job. His articulation is more than enough, as we're not exactly posing Batman here. I think I'm going to give this guy an 8 out of 10. Thanks guys for sticking around to the end of the review. Hopefully, we'll see the rest of the Koopalings released sooner rather than later. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, leave a comment, or consider subscribing, and we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks a lot.